Hi everyone, this is deepSPEAK. I'm Michael and this is Barbara. Barbara is a doctor of Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and it's the highest qualification you can get, I think. And in a previous video, What is Chinese Medicine, Barbara introduced the 8 limbs of Chinese medicine, and there were 4 treasures and 4 pillars. Today we're going to talk about movement as a treasure?
As a pillar.
As a pillar.
As a pillar.
And how important it is for our overall health. So tell us about that.
Okay, so when we talk about, often we talk about exercise, but I actually prefer to talk about movement, because I think that, you know, in Chinese medicine we say sometimes you need to move and sometimes you need to rest.
Yeah.
And it's listening to the inner wisdom of your body. Often we go against that and we have this idea or this concept that, you know, we've got to exercise so many times a week. But I think if we listen to our body, then the body will communicate what is the best thing to do. So with movement, one of the things I love about yoga, and I've been practicing for many years, is just the complexity and the simpleness of yoga. And what I love about the studio and what you're offering is this whole range of different types of yoga, which really does address a lot of the pillars, like the rest and the movement, like yin, for example. And you know, we've already produced a little clip on that. You can look at that to see why yin yoga is so important.
And that's that rest pillar.
It's the rest pillar. Whereas if we want something more yang, then we're going to go for a more yang practice, which is more vigorous movement, more kind of probably more postures. Whereas yin is fewer postures, but more resting in between and working much more with the connective tissue.
Okay.
So I think it's about understanding what it is that we need right at the moment. So say you've just had surgery or you're recovering from an illness, then what's going to be most important is actually a yin practice. So we're still going to have movement introduced into your daily life, but it's going to be a kind of a more integrative movement practice. It's more to do with what's happening for you right now.
So more healing, more restorative, which someone out of surgery or someone that's fatigued would benefit from.
Yes, and also, you know, like sometimes people who are quite depleted or weak, for example, want to do a yang practice, something that's kind of
which is really crazy. We see that a lot in the studio. Which sometimes those people need more of the rest movement.
Of course they do.
Yeah, I think most people actually.
Yeah, well, I think especially, you know, as Westerners, you know, we have such an external yang kind of existence. I think we can benefit a lot from a yin practice.
So what kind of person would need more of a yang movement kind of practice?
Okay, I think sometimes people who have sedentary kind of positions where they're, you know, like maybe working at a computer or they're not moving a lot during the day, I think that they can benefit from a contrast. So long as, for example, they're not suffering from like colds or flus or it's post-surgery.
In which case they'd need more of a yin restorative.
Then they need more of a yin, basically.
Sure.
And also, you know, like people basically who don't get a lot of activity, I think, can benefit from that kind of movement. Yes.
And that explains a lot, because I know that at Deep Yoga Studio, there's our website's at the end of the video. All our yin yogas are full, which is really interesting because there is actually movement there, but people are more and more recognizing how that stillness, that really passive, subtle movement is really what the body's yearning for. And quite often you'll see a lot of people that do too much yang, and you know who you are.
That was me, guys.
Yeah, no, we've all been there. But yeah, that burn out, literally. And it's the last thing they want to do is have a still, reverent kind of movement.
Yes, so, and yet it's just what the body, you know, really wants.
Really craves for.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Barbara. That's amazing. So movement is one of the 4 pillars in Chinese medicine. Thank you.
Thank you.